Asfiya says, there's a masjid in my colony. We recently came to know that many years back, the masjid was made on a graveyard. Is it permissible to offer salat in this masjid? First of all, we have to understand that it is totally prohibited to pray in a masjid that is built over a grave, let alone a whole cemetery. This masjid has to be demolished because it was unlawfully built. Now, this is not a generic answer. Rather, we have to go into details. If the graveyard, before building the masjid, the workers took all the remains in these graves, and now there are no human remains in the land, and then they built the masjid on top of it, that was a grave mistake. But praying in the masjid is permissible. Why? Because there are no human remains underneath it. So one way of looking at it, if the graveyard was there for thousands of years, so we can guarantee that by experience, there are no remains, none whatsoever. It's all gone. Building a graveyard on top of it, if it was done already, building a masjid on top of it, if it's done already, this praying in there is permissible, or when the graves and the remains have been taken away from it. Unless this area, this land, was dedicated by the owner to be a cemetery for life. And this is called waqf, endowment. If I dedicated the land to be a cemetery or a graveyard, no one has the right to sell it. It cannot be inherited, and it cannot be shifted to something else, because it's mine and I made it a waqf. Like when I make an endowment of a masjid. Nobody can come and demolish this masjid and say we need it for this or for that. So if this is the case, no human remains are there in these graves or in this cemetery, praying in this masjid is permissible. But if the graves were not dug out and the remains are still there, then it is totally prohibited to pray in that place.